Good morning. Welcome to Cool Springs. Today is Friday, October the 17th, 2025. And this is our series, Questions About God and the Bible. And it's going to overlap several of the other short podcasts that we've done already this morning. Life is like that sometimes. That's the way God works things out. The question today is really as a result of a conversation I had with a friend in the local area who teaches the midweek children's ministry at a sister church in our association. And she had some questions, and part of it dealt with the fact that their church is doing a fall festival as an alternative to Halloween. And so part of the discussion was, is it okay for Christians to celebrate Halloween, or do we need to just ignore the whole thing? And if we're doing a fall festival, how can we make it a Christ-like celebration? That was the context for it. And since we've already done some other podcasts year after year about different churches have different approaches to whether or not Halloween should be celebrated. There are some denominations who don't see anything wrong with it. There are others who say that no, we shouldn't be inviting anything that glorifies and honors evil. Depending upon the denomination, if they're more liturgical Protestant, like a Lutheran or a Presbyterian, somebody along that line, they might, instead of having a Halloween celebration, have what they call a Reformation party. Because as it turns out, in church history, Martin Luther, who was a monk in Germany, penned his 95 Theses and nailed them to the church door on October 31st, 1517, and it's what sparked, ultimately, the Protestant Reformation. So some churches that are more liturgical Protestant churches will have a Reformation party, and they'll focus on Martin Luther seeing things in the church that needed to be fixed, that needed to be corrected. He didn't intend to have the Christian church in Europe break up into Catholic and Protestant. He just wanted the one church that existed at the time to correct some mistakes that had gotten in his view. And the outcome was that, yes, many people agreed with him, and they decided to break away from the Catholic Church. And then the Catholic Church counter-reformed and fixed some of the things, but by then, the separation had already occurred. You could take that tactic with the upcoming holiday that'll appear on October 31st. Or you can choose to focus on biblical themes. It just so happens that in the Bible there is the fall harvest of the Feast of Tabernacles, which was celebrated at the end of the harvest time, and you can turn it into a harvest party. Nobody has a problem with kids getting candy, but you do need to be careful about what goes in your child's body and what goes in your child's mind and heart. And so, pull this out of the church pantry here. We're going to have a church fellowship on Saturday. It's just our normal monthly fellowship. But because it's the month of October, we've got some fall chocolate and vanilla iced miniature donuts here. And so they're in like the oranges and the browns, the more fall harvesty type colors. And that'll be one of the treats that's served. So when I was talking to my friend who's in children's ministry, I pointed out to her that yes, if your church is going to do a fall festival, number one, when they advertise it, they need to make sure that they put the word out on what's an acceptable costume or not. Because otherwise you might have some child in the community that's gone out to celebrate Halloween, and then they're also going to stop by your church, and they may be dressed in an inappropriate costume, which is Dracula's, Harry Potter, those kinds of things. But you need to let people know what kind of costumes are okay, or is it okay for them to just come in their regular clothes. And when you're soliciting the candy donations for your fall festival. You need to let people know that you will or will not accept candies that are wrapped versus unwrapped, and what they're wrapped in. Because you see right now, you go to the grocery stores and all the different discount stores, and they've got big bags of candy on sale. Why? Because the storekeeper knows that a lot of people are going to be buying extra candy right now for Halloween and for their fall festivals. But an ordinary candy may be wrapped in a seasonal package, where now instead of having the candy bar in its regular wrapping, it may have bats or spiders or ghosts, witches on brooms, all kinds of other temporary wrappings on there. And it's not that it's the candy that's a problem. It's does the wrapping look like, and what subtle message are you giving if you accept that kind of candy? So there's a lot of things for churches and church leaders to think about when they're trying to plan what kind of holidays are going on, and also for just individuals in their own homes. What sort of holidays are we going to celebrate? What's the focus of our holiday celebration? Because you see, you can have a fall festival that excludes anything that promotes evil and wickedness. But you can also have a Christmas that focuses on Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa, and doesn't mention Jesus as the reason for the season. So we have to be intentional about the holidays we celebrate, and if there's a holiday that we can't in good conscience justify saying, I'm going to participate in this and I'm going to allow my family to participate in this, then what alternatives can we provide so that they don't feel left out from the fun, but that you have focused their fun on celebrating God's creation. The fall of the year, when the leaves are turning, is a very beautiful time of year. You can focus their thinking on, isn't it good that God gave us these 4 seasons and that we need all 4 seasons in order to make sure that we're imparting good faith doctrine and planting good seeds that when our families grow up, they'll remember, they'll celebrate themselves, and they'll do it with a clean conscience because you've put God at the center of whatever holiday celebration you're having.